We've all been there, right? You walk into a conference room, maybe 5 minutes before a big presentation,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of prepping your opening, you're, on your hands and knees fumbling with cables under a table.
Oh, the classic cabling.
Yeah.
Or trying to figure out why the projector's on input 2 when the remote is nowhere to be found.
Exactly. It's this universal headache. So today we're doing a deep dive into a piece of hardware that claims to be the brain that solves that exact problem. We're looking at the Kramer VS-622DT.
Yeah, it's sold as an all-in-one presentation system, but if you really look at the guts of it, it's trying to be like 4 different devices crammed into one box.
And our mission today is to see if it actually pulls that off. So let's start with its main job. The spec sheet calls it a 6x2 matrix switcher. What does that actually mean for someone who isn't an AV tech?
Think of it like a traffic cop for your video signals.
Mm.
You have 6 inputs coming in, 4 are HDMI, 2 are HDBaseT, and 2 outputs going out to your screens.
And matrix just means you can send anything anywhere.
Exactly. Any of those 6 sources can go to either screen, or you can send one source to both screens at the same time. It's flexible.
Okay, that routing part seems pretty standard. But I saw a feature in the specs called Kramer reclocking and equalization technology. Honestly, it sounds a bit like marketing fluff. What is that actually doing?
It's surprisingly crucial. We think of digital signals as being perfect, like they either work or they don't.
Yeah.
But over long cables, the signal degrades. It gets noisy. The timing gets all messed up.
Is that what causes those weird green sparkles you sometimes see on a projector?
That's it, exactly. Or the screen just blacks out for a second. This reclocking tech literally rebuilds the signal. It puts the timing back in order and boosts the strength before setting it on.
So the 4K image at the far end of the room is just as clean as it was coming out of the laptop.
Mathematically identical, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if the signal coming in was a little shaky.
Okay, so speaking of distance, you mentioned HDBaseT inputs. Why even have those? Why not just use 6 HDMIs?
It really just comes down to physics. A standard HDMI cable, it starts to get pretty unreliable after about, 15, maybe 20 feet.
Right.
HDBaseT lets you send that exact same video, plus audio and control signals, over a normal Ethernet cable, the kind you have in your walls.
And what kind of range are we talking about there?
For 4K video, you can go up to 100 meters. That's about 330 feet.
Whoa.
And if you drop it to 1080p, there's this ultra mode that can push it to 180 meters, almost 600 feet.
Okay, that definitely solves the large venue problem.
Mm-hmm. And it also provides power over Ethernet, or PoE. So that little transmitter box on the conference table doesn't need its own power brick. The main unit powers it right through the network cable.
Which cleans up a lot of that table clutter we were just talking about.
For sure.
Now, the all-in-one claim usually means audio is part of the deal, but normally a video switcher like this needs a big separate amplifier to drive the speakers in the ceiling.
And that's where this unit saves you a ton of rack space. It has a power amp built right in, 120 watts total. It does something called audio de-embedding.
Okay, translate that for us.
It just means it can grab the audio that's already embedded in the HDMI signal, like from a YouTube video on your laptop. It pulls it out, amplifies it, and sends it straight to the speakers.
So you don't need a separate heavy amplifier box.
Nope. No extra amp, no extra heat, no extra wiring.
That's really efficient. But the feature that really got my attention, the one that seems to turn this from just a switcher into a room controller, is Maestro.
Maestro Room Automation. Yeah, this is the aha moment for this system. This is where it stops just passing signals and starts making decisions.
How does that work in the real world? Is it complex to set up?
It's all based on triggers. A trigger can be something simple, like the act of plugging your laptop into the cable on the table.
So I walk in, I plug in my HDMI cable, and the room just reacts.
That's the idea, yeah. Because the unit has all these physical control ports, RS-232, relays, stuff like that, it can literally talk to the other equipment in the room.
Like the blinds and the projector screen.
Exactly. It senses your laptop, and then it can automatically tell the projector screen to drop down, the motorized blinds to close, and the room lights to dim to a preset level.
So it basically removes the need for a control panel on the wall. You don't have to find the right button. You just connect your device.
That's the whole philosophy behind it. Minimize human error.
Yeah.
If the room configures itself, the presenter can't really mess it up.
So let's just recap here. We've got one single 19-inch box that's doing video switching.
And long-distance signal extension.
Right. And audio amplification. And on top of all that, environmental room automation.
It really just connects all the dots. For an IT manager, it's way fewer points of failure. For a user, it just means the tech disappears. You walk in, you plug in, and you present.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We've always used technical difficulties as this sort of valid excuse for a meeting starting late.
Totally. Sorry, everyone. The projector's still warming up. We've all said it.
Exactly. But if the room itself knows you've arrived and automatically sets a stage for you, how much longer until that excuse just isn't valid anymore?
I think we might actually have to start blaming the quality of our presentations instead of the hardware.
A truly terrifying thought. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.